with Coach Mangini, and we are going viral. Ryan Fitzpatrick is having a career year 2 games in and showcasing why he has the FitMagic nickname 2 games in. But someone else is on his corner. Dolphins rookie safety Minkah Fitzpatrick has filed to trademark his high school nickname FitMagic. Coach, who deserves
heady play
more?
Minkah getting out in front of this. Heady play, Minkah.
I give it to Minkah for having the initiative.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Nick Saban said that he's the best leader that he's ever coached. Adam Case said in Miami that if he wasn't a rookie, he'd be a team captain. So I know he's getting this and getting the rights to it, but I mean, you're talking about a serious football player. He's going to be a great. This is not no overreaction. He's going to be a great player. He can play corner, can play safety, can play nickel, is a tackler in the box. Good football player.
Fitzpatrick got the nickname from fans. Minkah got it from his mother. So I say he has proprietary rights and he got to the patent office first. So good for him.
Yeah, the copyrights add value.
Absolutely.
All right.
And on somebody else's team, unless that NFL assistant is there or has worked there recently. I mean, we don't know where this is coming from. Every family operates differently, and the Steelers operate differently than the family that I was a part of, but they've been able to make it work for a long time. Now, are they frustrated that they're losing? I'm sure they're frustrated that they're losing. You know, Antonio Brown, I don't know what he was saying on the sideline, but he was targeted 17 times. Could he have acted better and differently and in a way that was
we
much more...
know he wasn't saying throw me the football.
Yeah, I don't know what he could targeted 17 times. That's pretty good. And they hang 37 points last week?
Yes.
So offensively, it's been productive. Obviously, the turnovers have been an issue. But the idea of Mike Tomlin not having any control just because people operate differently doesn't mean there's a fundamental lack of control. I've got a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin. Every interaction that I've ever had with him has been positive. I respect the things that he does. And look, he's transitioned some things in Pittsburgh. He's made some changes in Pittsburgh, and they moved on from Todd Haley. And Todd probably had Todd has a little bit of a volatile side, but maybe that worked in that family better than it's working right now as they find their way with a new coordinator.
I don't get the way Mike Tomlin is discussed. I just simply don't get it. Won a Super Bowl 2 years in, went back to a Super Bowl 2 years after that, has never been below 500, ever. So go ahead, C.
I get it. Any African-American coach that has any volatile players on the sideline, this is the logo that they get.
Correct.
I was with Denny Green for 10 years. It's the same thing. Same thing, no matter how we won, lost, all the optics. Man, one time Denny grabbed me, and he was right for grabbing me because I was going off on someone. He was like, you realize right now there's 4 cameras on this. There's always 2 on me because I also look good. But he said, right now, people are saying up down. Denny Green don't have control of this team. Now, this is what I need you to do. I need you to go sit your butt down and act like you got some sense. But I need to tell you something first. I'm going to get rid of these sorry players as soon as I get a chance. So the only one out here more upset than you is me. Now, I need you to turn around, shake your head, and go sit down. I was like, yes, sir, coach. And I went right back over there, and we had an understanding. But Denny got on me plenty of times, and the optics after the game, win, lose, or draw, was exactly like what we hear coming out of Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin.
And I'm glad you said it because, of course, that's an element to it. And it's a third rail, and people are afraid to do it. But to talk about it, I'll never forget this. I remember I used to cover, when I covered local teams, we'd go to the training camps. And when there would be training camps open to the public, the fans would never cheer for a great play as much as they would cheer when the coach would blow practice dead, start ripping into a guy, or they would get a standing ovation from the fans if the coach made everybody run. Because everyone remembers back when they played high school football and how they would coach and these spoiled people like it. Football fans like that type of coaching. That's not who Mike Tomlin is. He has the added lack of a benefit from a lot of the fans' perspective of being young and being black. And so things are out of control. He's too much of what you hear is these code words. He's too much of a player's coach. Whatever his style is, the only coach who hands down has been more successful than him in his tenure is Bill Belichick. And we talk about Bill Belichick as maybe the greatest coach ever. It's not his fault L. Bell's not there. What do you want him to tell Antonio Brown? If you tweet again, you're off the football team? Like, what do people want from Mike Tomlin other than to be someone who's not? He's very straightforward in press conferences. His players seem to really like him. I understand he's a different coach than Pete Carroll, who's a different coach than Matt Nagy, who's a different coach than Andy Reid. But none of those guys get the banging that Mike Tomlin does. I think it's
with
ridiculous.
all the stuff that came out of Seattle, why don't they say that about Pete Carroll? They got guys tweeting stuff. They got guys saying stuff. They got guys questioning offense scoring. They got guys questioning, man, we lost the Super Bowl because of the coaching staff.
Because of a conspiracy against
They never say that about Pete Carroll. And they had a lot more things going on than the Pittsburgh Steelers coach.
I remember talking to Mike Tomlin when he first got the job, and he was very comfortable in his own skin. He was very comfortable in the things that he believed in, and that resonated. Look, there's going to be edgy players on teams, and there's going to be edgy players, more of a concentration on some teams than others. And Pittsburgh's always had a lot of those guys.
Yes.
And when you lose, those emotions come to the forefront. And when you lose, people are a lot more critical of every interaction that takes place on the sideline. There's a lot of things that are said on sidelines that nobody ever sees because of the way they're said, but they're harsh and they're confrontational. It just, some people have a way of just glossing it over a little bit better.
And there's some guys that when they yell on the sideline, it's leadership. And other guys, it's distraction. Brady lost his damn mind this weekend for about 15 seconds on the sideline. And we've seen Brady do it before, and that is Tom Brady leadership. I'm not saying Brady's the same guy as AB, but the way we color these interactions matters. Sean Payton got banished from football for a year because the Saints were running a bounty program, right? That he had 3 consecutive sub-500 seasons with Drew Brees healthy prior to last season. He doesn't catch 20% of what Mike Tomlin does.
But I think some of the backlash with the drama is that this window for the Steelers is closing. It's either closing this year or next year with these 3 stars, Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. And nobody wants to see anything other than success or anything other than football. And you have to wonder, are you wasting this opportunity now with all this noise or whatever it is, or this in-house family drama, whatever you want to call it, and not focusing everything on taking advantage of these 3 guys?
I'll just say this. Mike Tomlin's the second best coach in Pittsburgh Steelers history. The one that's better than him is Chuck Noll. That's it. That's it in the franchise history. Now, people would debate, what about Bill Cowher? Check the numbers.
It's not even, yes.
Check the numbers to see what it says. So not only is Pittsburgh one of the great franchises, I'm talking about they are Mount Rushmore as far as the NFL is concerned. And for him to be able to continue that winning tradition, never having a losing season. Now, I would just say it's impossible to have a circus atmosphere, coach, as long as he's been coaching, and to not have a losing season if that was the truth.
Yeah, you can't kill him for having that circus atmosphere and then say, wait a second, he's won every single season. Look, could things be different? Do people like looking at things in a different way? It's not for everybody. It doesn't work for everybody, but it has been working for them. Now, when you go into the season and you tie the Browns, there's expectations that you're going to beat them, and then you struggle in your second game, then there's more criticism. Now, they get 1 or 2 wins here, start putting it together a little bit like they did last year, it'll all go back to normal.
And one of the things that can't be, when we talk about this era, because I make that point a lot, Jenna, that, listen, L. Bell got there, and that year they're 8-8. The next year, they make the wild card round. The year after the divisional round. The year after the AFC Championship game. And that leads us to last year, the team that I thought was going to win the Super Bowl last year. The Steelers have been a different football team since, tragically, Ryan Shazier was carted off that field. The offense been the same. But defensively, they went from allowing 17 points a game to 28 points a game. They went from allowing 50% of red zone drives to end in touchdowns, look at it, to 83% to end in touchdowns. They're giving them an extra 70 yards per game. I can't put that on the head coach. They lost the best player on their defense, who was the leading candidate at that time for Defensive Player of the Year, and they have not been the same football team since then. You add to that L. Bell hasn't shown up. Those are the real reasons this might be a missed era. If Shazier doesn't get hurt, last year maybe goes totally differently. We're not having this discussion.
Well, in fairness, they've had a year to fix that problem.
Oh, absolutely, but that's not on Tomlin either. Right?
Well,
he's not their personnel director.
Okay, but as a head coach, you have a significant amount of impact on that.
It's like the lady who says, you know something, coach, I'm going to lose some weight. This is all baby fat. Well, where's the baby? The baby in college.
Great example.
Great example. Oh, the baby.